At 9,600 feet above sea level, Breckenridge Distillery is the world's highest, and their bourbon is already winning international awards, even though it's not what they first set out to make.
My partners really wanted to make malt whiskey. They're very passionate about Scotch and about American malt whiskeys. That's what we set out to do. Explaining the timeline of how long it takes malt whiskey to age out, it just sort of came up that, you know, what's a little faster to market spirit, and bourbon's a natural choice. Bourbon originally was a product extension. We thought we'd sell some of it, and gosh, people just went nuts for it.
So how's it made?
Well, it all starts here at the mash kettle. Corn is very hard to break down, so we have to cook it at 180 degrees for about an hour. We then drop it down to 175, and we add unmalted rye in a smaller percentage. Cook that for about 30 minutes, allow that to break down as much as we can, and then we drop the entire mess down to 148 degrees and add a malted barley to it. And we pump it right out into one of our fermentation tanks. These are 550-gallon open-top fermentation vessels. We add a selected yeast strain to it as soon as we get it in there. We lower the temperature to 80 degrees, which is a comfortable temperature for fermentation. As soon as it's done, we pump it into the big copper pot still over here. This is a 550-gallon copper pot still. It's actually a compound still because of the column on top. The traditional pot stills just had a big neck. We add an enormous amount of calories here through steam jacket. The alcohol boils off at 172 degrees Fahrenheit. Goes from liquid to vapor, travels about 12 feet, and then gets recondensed back into liquid. Both whiskeys take 2 passes through the still, and after the second pass, you've got a concentration of about 70 to 75% alcohol by volume. We've refined it from 10% to 75. It's a long process. It's a lot of waiting on the still to finish up. We dilute that with some delicious Breckenridge water down to 60% alcohol by volume, or 120 proof. And at 120 proof, it then goes into new charred American white oak barrels. It just so happens that new American white oak barrels that are charred to some level are the perfect vessel for aging bourbon whiskey in, and that's what really defines bourbon's character. Well, I don't bother with them for a couple of years, and then we open them up and withdraw samples, and then we try to put together the most consistent complementary blends for bottling that we can. We bottle completely by volunteers. We can bottle about 2,500 bottles in an evening. It takes about 4 hours, and it's just a process of washing bottles, filling them, capping them, putting a tamper stamp on them, putting them in a box, and it's pretty efficient, actually. Distillery tours, you can come by, talk with me and my assistant while we're making it. We have a very knowledgeable staff of tasting room assistants who take you through and show you how the process is accomplished. We have a second tasting room downtown in the Blue River Plaza, right across from the Visitor Center, and that is open every day except for Tuesday for tastings from 11 till 7 at night.